Alrighty. In this one, we are going to create a asphalt texture, and in a particular way that you can overlay it under over the details. So basically, what we're going to do, we add some little stones, the pebbles, some darker lines in the middle and on the outside, and some other little imperfections that you usually see on a road. And that combined with the underlying pebbles, normal map, and so on will give you a great looking road. And that's it. Let's get right into it. So first I go into top view, enable screencast. Let's go into top view with numpad 7. I will add a plane and make the plane 7 meters. And let's go with 70 meters long, so it's times 10. Width, so it's a better format. Apply the scale, and then we can begin with the magic. So, as I said, the first thing that you will have on the road is other pebbles, the little stones. Let's go to the shade editor here, pull this one up, click on new, and name it asphalt underscore road. Yeah. Okay. It's quite simple. We need a Voronoi texture. Shift plus A, texture Voronoi. If we preview this with Control Shift plus T, go into texture mode. Looks something like this, a bit off. Control plus T to get the mapping node. If you do not get this, you do not have the node wrangler add-on activated. Just go to Edit, Preferences, click on add-ons, and search for node wrangler activated. That's it. We will change this to 40, so we have basically a seat. And this one to distance to edge. Then I want to use the object mapping. And now you can see if I put the scale maybe to 50, this already looks like pebbles. Which is great, I would say. Now let me think. Okay. Now we need roughness and a bump map. So first we can add a bump node. We pull the distance straight into the height and this one into the normal. And if we preview this, you can see this is our normal map right here. We do not want it, if we do want to export it, which we do not need, we would separate the colors. So separate color and combine color, connect these two and add blue. This one would be a normal map. Somewhat of a normal map. Not needed in this case, since we use only this one. Now we need a color. And also a roughness map. But first the color. For the color, we add the color ramp. Connect this to the vector and the color to the color for now. Now, if we play with this, we can see it changes a bit. So basically, the left is the dark spot here, and the white are the white spots on top. To use this properly, the black one should not be completely black, but darker. Then add a new one, slide it in here, which will be our base color. Maybe slightly brownish, or more for the color look, if we need one. So now this is like the more brownish color, and the white one is for the bit whiter pebbles. Probably need less of them, so I can push this inwards. Something like this. Now for the roughness, we want only the white parts to be more reflective. So we can use another color ramp. And simply put these together a bit more. But black is the shiny part, so we need to flip this. Probably go closer than this. Flip the color ramp. And search for come on. Strange. Just needed to go to the left. Maybe something like this. And just reconnect to the roughness. So if we view it together, you can see it looks quite good. If you go to render view, 2D render, and add an HDRI, it looks quite good as an asphalt, and you can see especially on the right side here, this part, that the white parts reflect quite a bit the light that's coming on. Now theoretically this would be enough for a plain asphalt. It's quite a bit boring and we do not have control so far. So to add control, I will also add a hue saturation thing to simply get the base control for the road. So if I up the saturation to a little bit more brown and to get this a bit more extreme, I will put the brown color up one. Or is this that reflective? Okay, as you can see, it's too reflective. So let's see. Something like this. Yeah, that's way better. All right. Now, I did bump the color for a simple reason. You can have with the value of the hue saturation value thing, the brightness basically. Saturation, color, yes, no. In that case, brown. And with hue, you can change the hue of the color. And I put saturation maybe 0.2. And this one would be a new asphalt. Now that's basically the setup for the base. But we can also control this We will make a shader for this one to control it. So let's select all of them, press 4+G for a group. Then put these up. The most important part would be, let's start with the pebble scale. Just drag the input socket to the input. Go to group and rename this to pebble scale. The W factor to the pebble seed. I actually forgot to put up the detail here. Probably can go brighter here then. All right, let's put this one back on. Yeah, that's way better. Go back in here. And now we simply want the saturation. That's all right. This one we can call brightness. Brightness. And the hue. Let's put the hue under the saturation. Now we can put this a bit brighter. The scale, put this to 1. It like this. Put up 50 wasage, pebble seeds, just to get a different look. Saturation to get rid of the color. And then the brightness, for example, a relatively new one. A new asphalt. Something like this. This one would be straight asphalt. Two, this time it will not crash because I'm not stupid. I hope. And now there's one thing left to do because this is just a plain asphalt. Let's go into Eevee. Yep, and Eevee does not like Voronoi textures. So let's go back here. We want to make the edges less bright. So let's reset this to 1 and just leave it like this. Should be quite alrightish for, I could actually make it brighter. Something like this would be good. Now we need the darker spots on the edges and in the middle. We can rename this one first to asphalt. So we have an asphalt thing. And the rest we're doing later. Let's make a fake user. So it will not get deleted if it has no user. So if it's not used. Second. Okay, so Quite simply, we need a gradient texture. If we preview this, we can see it's just a gradient. So Control T to add a mapping. Let's go with object. Or generator is probably better in that case. And we rotate this 90 degrees. And you can see it's black, which is not good. Now we need to figure out which one of these locations we need. Probably the Y one, if we look on the top. And as you can see, we can fucking see nothing. It doesn't change. So let's go with UV. Unwrap this. Set this to 0. Oh, it's nearly what we want already. Add a color ramp to bring more white to this. And then we just need to mix color with, what's it called? A noise texture. Put it in here. Add more detail. Maybe add a color ramp in here to get more of these. I purposely did not add the mapping node to this one, just so it's stretched out better. And now we just overlay. Not quite what we want. Even though it's actually pretty good. I actually like the overlay. Now we need the same thing for the other side, so we can simply duplicate this. If you preview it, just need to turn this by 90 degrees, just to show 180 degrees. And let's see. Just push this upwards a bit. This one, and also push this one up. And then we need to combine these two, combine color, mix color, sorry. Mix A with B. Vector should be 0. And now we just need to combine this with our pebbles. So again, a mix color. And now we just want multiply. Where is it? Yeah, multiply. But with a darker color. And we need to invert this one. Whoop, invert color. Just like this. Really subtle. Yes, that's subtle enough. And now we just need the same thing for the middle, which is quite easy because if we can have a look at this, we can just copy this one and adjust this, the setting from the color ramp. Not the color ramp. Oops, make this here. Maybe we should preview it again. So this one to here and this one maybe around there. Make it a bit smaller. Duplicate this one again. and put it in here as a factor. Maybe we should invert the color as well. Otherwise, it's the wrong way around. And now we have our procedural road. We can add a color ramp here to tweak the settings to get more or less of it. Go into top view again. Let's see if I change these settings. You can get less or more of it. And the same one for this here, color ramp. Now I can control the sides as well. And something like this is what I like. And that is one thing I would also like to add. And that's like some dark spots on the road, which is simply done with the noise texture. We mix this again as a factor, and this one will be black. As you can see, I want a stretched noise, so I add the mapping. Doesn't matter which one I use here, but I want to scale it around the x-axis. Nope. Oh, it's alright. The x-axis 0.1 maybe, something like this. That's alright. And now just take this one, make it slightly a different color. Make it slightly darker. And now we have an endless road texture we can use. But how do we use it? We need to render it. Because right now, this is not usable in game. It's usable in Blender only. So what do we need? That's quite simply, we need the base texture and the roughness texture. So after this all is done, you're happy with the looks of it. I did change a little bit from the last video, from the video you just watching, and I will probably combine things in here, but I'm not quite sure yet. All right, so let's bake it. Bake it, we need to be in cycles. So if you have a GPU, use GPU compute because it's way faster. On the render, I use 150 samples and a noise threshold of 0.01. Make sure the denoise is disabled, because otherwise you will miss a lot of details. My light bounces are set to 4, even though set this lower. And I do have HDRI as a setup, but let's be real, I could just use a white texture of strength of 2 is the look I'm going for. Now, there's one thing I need to mix, and that's a mix color. mix color, thank you. And that's the roughness. I want to mix these two together, but I need to color ramp this. Jesus Christ. Color ramp. Click on it. Now if we take a look, probably invert this part. Oh, actually it's fine. Create something like this, and the black one shouldn't be completely black. Something like this, if they're combined. Not an add, sorry. Maybe an overlay. Change the sockets. Better. With 0.5. And now the middle part is more reflective. To change how much, you can change the value. Want it to be slightly more reflective. Now to bake this, we don't need to be in rendered viewport. We need an image texture in here. Let's delete this. I will press Shift A, and in import I use an image texture. Click on new, call this road D for the diffuse map, and now could go with 4K width and 265, 56, sorry, pixels on the height. Yeah, that's alright. For me it's .001 because I already have this texture in here. And then we need a UV map input and connect this with the vector. Now we need to set up a new UV. So click on your mesh, go to data, and create a new one. Just click on the plus and select it. As it's selected, go into edit mode on your main screen. Press U, reset. So it's stretched along the whole part. Now enable the first one and click on the second one. Click on your mesh and click on road on the texture. And select the UV map here, otherwise it will not work. Go to render, scroll down until you find bake, and you can bake combined. This will take a bit. Just be patient. Weird. And now we can see we have our texture. Stretch road of, already forgot, 70 meters. So 10 times the width, which is an important scale you need to know. Now let's take two planes and normal. Now I have two textures and I will bake one more thing. So I will save this image save as. Let's call this road D in here. And then I also want the roughness map. So let's do the same thing, but we do not bake combined. We search for roughness and click bake. And here we have our roughness map. Let's save this as well. Let's call this R for roughness. Now I'm going to use GIMP. Where's my browser? Fuck you, GIMP. Hello, Photopia. Let's get the diffuse, import it, go to channels, add a new one. We have our roughness, so we can just open this in a browser, copy it, go to alpha, paste it in. Oh my god, it did work. Why is this more red? Yeah, this is how it should look. And then file export as, more DDS. Road D looks fine. BC3 4 times. Save. And let's save this under texture road D. Replace. Texture road D. That's a bit too white. And on the bottom, actually quite nice. And let's see. Let's change the... Well, this went to fucking troubleshooting, which is terrible. Don't have an alpha channel, good. Don't want one anyways. Maybe I want to control this a bit more with... What can I do? What can I do? Let's just use camera raw. Oh, I wanted to use this on the alpha channel. Select color range. Something like this. Okay, that was... It did not change anything. Never mind. Adjustments. There it is. Levels. Something like this. Press OK. I hope we did only change the alpha channel. We did. Awesome. File. Export. As DDS. Let's try this once again. Yeah, and as you can see, the sun is less reflective on the black parts. Okay, let's talk about the shaders and what input does. So come a bit closer. Come even more closer. So we do have the KS ambient, which is basically how strong your diffuse texture is. The diffuse is, wait, let me see how dark it is, how bright it is without the sun. So if this is a really low value, it will always be dark. So usually this is a little bit lower than the ambient. The specular level, if we change this to 0, in that case, it doesn't change hell of a lot. So we can leave it in that case to 1 because we have a different specular level for the tarmac. Specular level is basically how reflective it is. And the EXP is basically a multiplier for this. So if I would put this up, you can see it gets more, more rough, but also smaller. So usually 45, I would say, is a good middle ground for asphalt texture. KS emissive is just a emissive shader, so if it's RGB, if I type 111, our road would be glowing. With a higher value, you can see it. Not needed. Alpha ref is great for trees because you can, you get shadows from the alpha reference. So the multiplier for red, green, blue, and alpha is the multiplier for our textures down here. So, for example, with 0, we do not see anything. With 1, we have it a little really scaled out. So usually it's between 0.1 and 1. So in that case, 0.3. So I have my detail in there. Same thing for the GB and for the A, but for the A you usually use it on the whole thing. Actually, in that case, I do not have an alpha channel layered in, so probably you do not use this. The same as buff. Hello, LuckyOne. What's wrong with you? So all of them are basically from 0 to 1 a multiplier. Magic mult is important because it enables all the other parts. Don't know why this is default at 1 because I never seen a use case where this works without it. Fractional C, let's see. Fractional C. You can see it's basically what's it called? Oh, my brain is not working. Jesus Christ. The multiplier for the specular map. Or the specular map. And how much it is affected. And the EXP is again a multiplier for this. Rational max level usually on roads should be 1. And the tarmac specular multiplier doesn't seem to do anything in that case. Probably does it for the lower parts. I don't know. Play around. If it changes something, you know what it does. That's how you learn it, sadly. Because you do not get a lot of input. And the detailed NM multiplier, which is important because you need your aspect ratio from the plane. In that case, it's times 10. So if it's not times 10, so for example 10, well, I should import a normal map for this. It's stretched. So take the the value, the scaling. So it's times 10, so it should be 10 to 1 in that case. But 10 to 1 is too little, so I go double, 20 to 2. Still not enough. Let's go with 40 to 4. That looks good. And now this is it. You do have an incredibly great road texture. With the mask, it's currently just a red mask. I'm not sure if it's in the tutorial right now. If not, let's search for Photopea. If we create a simple new one with 1024 times 256, background transparent, and let's simply draw red, take the smaller and draw a green one. Oh, whoops. I should click OK. Let's draw something in here. You would spend a lot more time here at the alpha layer. Click on save, export, more DDS. Should this be white then? File, export. Okay, apparently the alpha channel should be white. Yes. Switch this. Now correct. Export. DDS, yes. Okay, my bad. Road map. Click on save. So if I use this as a map now, we can see that let's add a different texture as the green one. Let's just use this one. We have a different asphalt texture on there, which has a different specular level. In that case, it doesn't because I did not set it up. But if you use a correct map, for example, with the Voronoi texture, so let's just let's add a Voronoi texture. Change this to distance to edge. Pump the detail up. Scale up. Something like this, and then combine it with a noise texture, so you just have it on some parts. You can get quite a great detailed look on there. Yep, I think that should cover most of it. On Friday, we're going over folder structures. So what do you need to make it work? What's the difference between a circuit and the point A to B? What's important if you want traffic on it? And these sort of things. And after that, we are creating trees, guardrails, distribute them. Yeah, and then we're basically done with all the basics, and we can go to some things to spice all the things up. We also need to create at least one building because assets is quite important. But after the next 3 lessons, maybe 4 lessons, videos, whatever, you should be ready to create a quite outstanding track by yourself. If you learned it correctly, not just watched it. And okay, so see you then. Thank you for watching.